All right, so today's video, we're watching a plat for support on PC playing Lifeweaver. Hero bands in the game were Wrecking Ball, Doomfist, Symmetra, and Sombra. They say, I've been playing Overwatch since day one of Overwatch 1 and have been hard stuck plat all these years. This game was rather close. I was queued with 3 other people I met in Looking for Group, and I think we had good communication. Oh, in a Looking for Group. I'm like, well, that's not in Overwatch anymore. Okay, anyway. Our Rhine was quite aggressive, and myself and our other support did our best to keep them alive, but you know how it goes. My DPS were doing a good job at points, and each came out with 30 plus kills. I went 12-4 with 31,000 healing, which is the most I've ever gotten in a single game. Somehow we lost, and I can't help think it was my fault. Hope this is worthy of for your eyes, and I accept any and all criticism, even if you tell me I should go back to playing Hello Kitty. What's wrong with Hello Kitty? Seems like a cool game. I haven't played it, but Dorado. So looking at the comp, I mean, Dorado for Rhine can be a tough matchup. The other tanks are on the Rissa, though, so like that kind of eliminates having to worry about like the mobile, like high ground tanks as much. So you got that going for you at least. So we'll see how this goes. Did add my own jokes? No, I did. That's what it says at the bottom of the. Listen, the editors will always post a screenshot. You'll see what I'm talking about, okay? With the when I read off the spectated stuff. The rank flat. They said they've been hard stuck. Oh, hello, sir. Okay, bye. He went to bed. He just went to bed. He literally did that, looked at me, and then went to bed. Okay, have a good night, buddy. Okay, anyway. Give Ryan a pedal? Good advice. Yeah, I mean, someone in the chat is, well, Greek there is mentioning that, like, giving, like, high ground to Ryan can be important. At the same time, I mean, they're already kind of rolling through first, but that's something to keep in mind if you get stuck right here at that direct choke. But good start so far, right? Yep, I agree. I agree that taking the pedal there, someone's saying, like, maybe take the high ground up here right away to his Lifeweaver. This spot's really interesting. It's really good for taking high ground, but then, like, once you get up here, it requires your teammates to also, like, play in spots that make sense. So it really depends on what your team's plan is. Like, if your team's plan is to, like, have your Reinhardt go up here with a pedal, then you can maybe go to this spot. But if no one on your team is going up here, you might just go up here and just fall over. How I know this, I've tried it. And if your team isn't on the same page, then, like, you just get spammed out. So I like the idea if everybody has kind of taken the high ground control, but if it's just you, then they just kind of poke you out. But either way, that's well past that already, and but yeah, did a Rissa and Rhine on Dorado. That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't see those heroes too much on. Well, I mean, let me rephrase that. You're going to see the heroes probably in a lot of ranks in Dorado, but it's Dorado generally is really good for. I don't know. I say that now, but like I think Orisa is actually really strong in Dorado because even if you look like OWCS, Orisa on Dorado is a very common like strategy. But a lot of it's because what they'll do is they'll hold either really close right here and then control the roofs, or they'll end up falling back to here, and then they use this as like the map. Like this ends up being basically a choke that you hold, and as long as you deny this side of the map. So I know I'm going in depth, but hey, with how we do the YouTube stuff now, like it's unless they take this side of the map and like take a long time to take map control, this ends up being a really solid spot. So we've seen teams even in OWCS like just hold right here and on Orisa. Rhine, you know, Rhine's a little bit different on this map for that. You don't see Rhine as much for this, but Orisa I think is super like common on first point Dorado, especially with being able to hold chokes and things like that. All right, you have tree coming up here. Something I would like to see still. I've talked about this with Lifeweavers before. I love the idea of pre-pedaling sometimes. It's really frustrating if you're going up against a Lifeweaver who pre-pedals. What I mean is having a pedal over here or something, right? And you're like, why does that matter? Like, you know, what's the point? If I'm understanding this correctly, the moment you use your pedal, it goes on cooldown anyway. So if you're afraid of not having the cooldown at important times, when you get stuck in the neutral like this, it's just good to have. It's like just good to have as like a backup option. Do you get what I'm saying? So just that's something I want you to think about when you're playing Lifeweaver is having a pedal out there. It's good to have. It's a really good like option and utility because you could then use your dash to go to it, go on top of the pedal right away and pull your teammate instead of having to drop your pedal, go on top of the pedal, and see how you save yourself time and also do that? Yep. Yeah, the new perk, if you haven't seen the new Lifeweaver perk going in the next season, you're going to be able to actually, if you get the attack speed one, which I don't know what the perk choice is going to be for Lifeweaver, but like your teammates will benefit greatly from your petals too. And if you look at, yeah, you see that how your petal was on cooldown, like you put it there? Even with it being used, you already have it back again. So just again, free petal in the right spots. Call that a big slam alert. Made the right choice. Made the right choice there. I was again a little bit concerned you were going to try to save your teammates there with the ultimate, but your team was already kind of far back. That was a correct decision. I'm glad we got to see that in real time, where you're about to drop the tree there. Now, yeah, there you go. Nice play. This was clean. Good job. Clean, clean, clean. Go over the top to your right. Yep, yep, yep. Even your teammate, look at, even your teammate wanted you to do that. Good job there. Very, very good job there. Well played. Again, use your pedal. It's a big part of it. Pedal them up. See ya. Great play. Free. Yep. Well, listen, when I said tree, you know, I wasn't necessarily. Oh man. I know I didn't expect that. I mean, that must have been, I need to look. You said on that one. I mean, I want to see what happened for a second. That is hilarious. I love that tree. Yeah, I do want to point out the tree time in here makes sense. And I want people to go like, yeah, but like, listen, you talk about ults. Why would I want to use my tree when we're down 2? Here's my take. And this is a good way to approach when you should use an ultimate and when you shouldn't in a situation where you have numbers. In my opinion, it's a 5v3. You don't really know if you're going to win the team fight yet. I would rather you cap the point and give yourself an extra team fight on second than to maybe risk it. Hanzo gets someone randomly with this Hanzo ult and then one-shot somebody. Now it's a 3v3 and you go, oh, I should have popped my tree. So this is one of those safe plays where like, yeah, could you have held it? Of course. Would you see in like, you know, OWCS gameplay, would they save it? Probably, because like they have the teamwork, the comms and all that. In this situation, I'm okay with you using tree here and making sure you win the team fight. So, anyway. I just want to see this. Yeah, I mean, it looks like you wanted to put the tree right in front of you, and it just happened to go through the side of the cards. That was still great, though. That was still great. So, and as you can see, the team fight's still going. So, again, I just wanted to show you an example of where it seems like you shouldn't use your ultimate because of numbers. But in my opinion, just win the team fight with your ults, and you'll build up your Lifeweaver ult fairly quickly in second. And this pretty much gives you another team fight, right? Because it's guaranteed you win the team fight. Now, instead of having 2.5 minutes in case you lost the team fight, you have a guaranteed 3+. That could be one extra team fight and more time to build up your ult. So, okay. Here's my time to show. I want to show people this while we're on Dorado, because I think Dorado has changed enough for me to kind of showcase this. Listen. I know in every rank, high ground isn't going to be super important, right? Like, you got to get everybody on the same page. You know, you may not be able to have the travel time to get there. An example of this, as much as I love to see people rotate to Eichenwald on Eichenwald, I don't expect a solid rotation to go high ground on Eichenwald, which is why I get why in some ranks people don't even go for that, right? But with Dorado, they added these stairwells here. And I do want to point out that a lot of ranks I'll just watch people drop off the high ground right away. Do not be afraid as a team. Even if you want to use your pedal here to get your team up here, do not be afraid to take this, because the moment you take this, like, you can basically take over the map like crazy. Again, not necessary, but I did want to show you that there's like this part of the map now with these stairs has really changed how Dorado can play here. Where before you were just like, if you stayed on the cart the whole time, I wouldn't even blame you, because Dorado had one of the worst like high ground rotations in the game. You'd go here and, you know, it'd be like, take you 3 business days to get up here. You send a postcard, and then you finally get up here, and they just one-shot you with other ultimates. Going up here is really, really good now. So, again, just showing people that in any rank that this is still this is a viable strategy, because you're just going to get so much of that map control with these stairs being added a while ago. I think it was over a year ago now.
No bucket boy.
Figured I'd bring it up. And remember, a little bit of a note on high ground. High ground is really good, but keep in mind that if your team all doesn't go high ground, it's better to work together as a team than to have one person go up there and try to force it 18 team fights in a row, because I mentioned that high ground is important, right? So also play at the vibe that your team's playing. Okay. There's the pedal, by the way. You did use a pedal near it. Again, no one really used it. except the Orisa on their team, and then they fell off of it immediately. So they might have been shot there, but yeah. Good pull and save. Everything's clean so far. Their team dropped and gave up that part of the map. Should be good. Nice kills. Try to put a pedal for the high ground for your teammates, even though there are stairs there. Perfect. Everything's good there. Good job. Except the pedal was in a spot that I thought was good. So watch the pedal. Watch the pedal. Oh, it went up. What the heck? Why did the other pedal just stop? What happened? Oh, because they jumped off of it. That makes sense. Good pedal. That's great, though. Having that pedal access there is good. Now, a little bit of a note here on the pedal. If anybody recently is new to Lifeweaver or hasn't played a ton of Lifeweaver, the pedal has a timer now. It used to be that once the pedal was active, it was all scuffed with pedals. Pedal has like a full timer now. So if you look there, you see the little arrow with a circle. That's how much time your pedal can like have somebody on top of it for a while. So before it was really scuffed and the pedal wasn't as good. Now it gives you like a timer. It shows you how long it's going to be up for. You can kind of like reposition your pedals based off of that information. But it's good info to have. So if you look at the bottom there, see the little like arrow? That's the timer on how long somebody can stand on it. Okay? I'm not reading that, what I just read in chat. Just want to point that out. Totally not name. Out of curiosity, what level are you on that? Here we go. I'm trying to think. What's the 3v3? You don't have to pop tree here. You just, you back up. This is the correct play. So the reason why you disengage this spot is because, like, they're going to have numbers a little bit quicker to you. So, like, what you need to do in this situation is just survive the team fight, back up, and then go back in with your own ultimate. So they've used more your ultimate. If you really want to get into, like, the figuring out what they have, like, you know Lucio has beat. There's the beat. Now you ult. You're 1-for-1 in the support ult there. Great job saving the Orisa ult. That Orisa will eventually figure out you're going to do that. How do I know this? Because it usually takes me about 6 Orisa ults before I realize it. Good job, good heals, good counter. So the reason why that was a good play, by the way, chat, too, was that you basically, if you trade the tree for the Moira ultimate in that 3v3, you're basically just giving them the ability to use a counter beat. So because you disengage and survive that, you've now given your teammates a great opportunity to win it. Very good decision-making by your team in general there. I know you said your Reinhardt was playing really aggressive, but your Reinhardt made a great choice backing up there. That was exactly the correct play, and you played that perfectly. Because you're basically trading the beat there, and I think, truthfully, I think Lifeweaver tree nowadays, how long it lasts for, people don't kill it, and it lasts longer than beat usually does. So, like, it's actually just going to be a better trade there for you. So, good job. You're healing? It should, yeah, it should. Hopefully you'll get to your count time on that one, on the tier skip drops. You may be taking high ground again. Make sure to, you have a little bit, sometimes you forget about your pedal for a while. I'm sure if I was playing Lifeweaver, I would do the same, just because I don't play a ton of Lifeweaver, but yeah, there you go. Good pedal. Great high noon. I still want to see more pedal uptime, though. You could have had a pedal up and then use that again anyway. You don't have to trade just yet. Wait, and good. I'm okay with this because you're going to keep the momentum. You need to keep somebody in the cart, though. If you're going to play like this, someone needs to get that cart going during the same time. This is one problem I have with... I want to point this out. And again, you said you're in a 4-stack, I think. You said you meant like the people looking for group or like in like a Discord or something. So one thing that needs to be communicated here is that the idea of keeping momentum is great. I love it. I am a huge keep momentum, like just snowball them, win the game. But I want you also to realize how much time, that 3-second difference of not being on cart could be the make or break between this being an over ult situation and them being able to come back and use their ults to get it back. So if you're going to do that, be like, hey, I'm going to tree. Can somebody stay on cart? And then pop your ultimate and then get somebody going there. So anyway, because now you're backing up, you're giving up the space, right? Like if you had somebody on cart, the cart's already pushed up there. Now they're going to come back with, you know, B. Again, I'm not saying they're not going to, that your team is going to lose this, but like, look at it, it's 2 meters. See what I'm saying? Like, that was the make or break between this being a close team fight and not. And look at that. See? .76 meters, and that was the difference. Was when that play happened, your team did not do that. See what I'm talking about? So now you're in a much different spot that your team could have been if you just had one person basically be on the cart during that whole sequence of keeping the momentum. Still could win it, though. I mean, your team's on cart. You have people here, so it's not lost, per se, but we'll see. Good heals. Good job by your Kiriko. So, in the end, your Kiriko makes a huge play, and you cap the point, but you could have finished that with some time on the clock. Barrett's playing a little bit too aggro. You still have your Rhine. You're playing against the Winston. The Winston will be pretty solid here. Honestly, I feel like, okay, I want to point this out sometimes. I think in these situations, and again, this could be just okay, your Rhine's starting to do it now. I feel like if you're going to play Rhine on first point Dorado, why not hold corner? Especially when you have a Lifeweaver. Like, why not just hold corner? Because they're not going to get any card time. They're more than likely going to try to surround the Rhine. It's going to give your teammates up top map control. If for some reason your Rhine gets low, you can pull them back, right? And then if they dive the high ground, you can also pull your Rhine back to help with the dive. So I think, like, your team setup time here wasn't as quick as it could have been. I want to see if your Rhine ends up rotating here, because if your Rhine doesn't rotate the cart... Okay, here you go. You're good. I still think the Rhine should have been there from the get-go, though, because it's really hecked up your team's position from... Nice job, though. It all works out, kind of. See, you mentioned your Rhine being too aggro, but I feel like this was a team effort on the setup onto why your Rhine fell over there. And I know that sounds like weird, like, oh, yeah, the Rhine went too aggressive. I agree the Rhine went too aggressive, but I think this was just your team didn't set up in the correct spot, and then it was on a different page. This is just more of like, next time I think the team needs to communicate where they should go, and now your Rhine's on Roadhog. All right, we'll see how this goes. That Winston's going to fall over pretty quickly. Yep. Winston's falling over. Play to save your soldier, not your Hawk here, because your Hawk can self-sustain a little bit. So you want to be able to pull your soldier when needed. If your Hog feeds, then that's on your Hog at that point. You got your ult soon, you got your first perk, you got your tree. Don't be afraid to pop the tree here. Actually, I think if you wait any longer, you're going to end up getting grinded down here. Maybe I'm wrong. I just feel like this is like... Oh man. This is such a unique team fight because I feel like they could have easily won this at any point, and then they just didn't, and then now you win the team fight, and it's a great play. It's just like, oh. I would have been okay if you popped tree there, but it was a good save, too. You know? Did more damage between heal? That's true. I mean, Lifeweaver definitely does do more damage now. I think sometimes what happens is that they're just, when there's so much damage output, like, players just want to keep the teammates alive. I get it. But yeah, I mean, Lifeweaver definitely has way more damage potential than before. I actually realized that when I was doing Mystery Heroes Tuesday recently. I'm like, damn, like, Lifeweaver really does have a good sequence now between damage and healing. It was pretty cool. They've done a good job of that. Yeah. Yeah, pre-charge and Blossom is good advice. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of the stuff. Yeah, you waited too long. Again, I just want you to... That one's an interesting one because I guess you Kiriko ulted in, but the moment you lost one, you probably got to pop that. Instead, you just it ends up being a 3v5 ult, and then you're going to lose the team fight anyway. So I call that moment your team was a little bit too safe with giving them map control. If you're going to use those ultimates, use them even sooner to kind of force them back rather than wait, give them space. Then I mean, I say that, but that's also a good viable strategy in certain ways. But I think your team there was a little bit too safe. Yep, you can pedal the bubble away with... Well, you used to, right? Because you can, like, the little middle part. Yep. Good play by the Winston there. Didn't do much about that. Yeah, I agree. Pedal usage needs more use in general. Healing up your team. Okay. Like, I want to point out again, and I talked about this before with Lifeweavers, there's just no point not to have a pedal here that's going to get you to the high ground. And the reason being is because, like, if you're not going to use the high ground, listen, is what I get it. You have good sight lines of your teammates. You don't have to overpeak the top. You're going to be fine, right? But I think you need to have, like, a pedal, like, here or something so that if they do dive you or go for you, your reaction is to go to the pedal and, again, not throw the pedal down, then go up. Because then if you do that, you won't have the cooldown again if they destroy it right away. But if they destroy it right away and you had the pedal here for a while, you're going to have your pedal. Like, it is a lot that you can do with your pedal. And I really think you're underutilizing that pedal. Like, it should already be one there. Like, your Hog should have been able to take a pedal up to the high ground and then could now deal with that Winston already. Think about that. And you know there's no Winston ultimate, so imagine having a hog there that does that. Yeah, you're playing too safe. Like, what is the... What's the point of holding on to the ultimate there? I know you're thinking you're going to get one shot, but you're going to get your HP back to full. So why not pop the tree there? Like, I feel like you played that way too safe, and then now you're going to third point, and yeah, you have your tree, but like that didn't feel like it was lost. And again, this circles back to, I just want to point out, like, let's go all the way back to this for a second, right? The Winston jumped up on high ground. The Roadhog on your team backed away, right? The Roadhog backed away, okay? Went here. There was no pedal, so the Winston got free reign. Then the Sojourn stayed up here, where once again, your Hog could have been up here already, and then you would have had pedal escapes. Instead, you just kind of leave your pedal nowhere. You don't even have a pedal out, and they overall win the team fight, and you played a little bit too safe with your ultimate. So maybe you were afraid you were going to get one shot, but like, sometimes you just gotta send it and like just see what happens with your ult. And that felt like it was a little bit too safe. You're like, I feel like all of second point was just very safe gameplay, and you all got snowballed. And you said, well, I don't know how we lost. Well, this is where all that time adds up. I want you to go back, think about the first point, the third point decision on attack, and then think about the second point. Now you're forced to use a counter ultimate on the Moira ult, and now their Lifeweaver was able to use the beat aggressively in comparison to last time we were trading. You see what I'm saying? They were able to do the exact opposite of what, or do the play that happened earlier that you did to them. Now they're getting the map control. Keep in mind, they push people, they push the cart during this whole map control. You notice how the cart never stopped moving? Like they've kept it going, and that means that now when your team retakes, you lose all the, on defense, you can't retake this, and now 336. So you asked earlier, like, what did we do wrong? Like, how do we lose a game like this, etc. And I think a lot of it comes down to this. These little things add up. That second point, your team literally didn't really contest them at all. You didn't use your abilities. You didn't use your ultimate. You let them make every first play. When there was opportunity to make plays, it didn't happen. And then on third point, your team had to play in the defensive because now you're getting snowballed from all the way at middle of first to beginning of the third. Your team's on their back foot. You're trying to figure out things to do, and then you immediately pop a tree against the Moira ultimate instead of using it against the Sojourn ultimate the fight before. Do you see what I'm saying? All of these things add up. And in Overwatch, in a team-based game, sometimes you could have all these really good individual plays where you said, oh, my teammates have this amount of limbs, but in the end, if you're not playing the objective correctly, an example goes back to that third point attack, or you're not using your abilities correctly, sometimes the other team just needs those two team fights in a row to just take over the game, regardless of what the kill-death ratio looks like. Ash takes the high ground, which is fine. What rank is this plat? Still no pedal. I keep mentioning no pedal for a bit, just to kind of like remind you that you're like 30 seconds into the game right now, almost. And yeah, there you go. You pulled them, and you still haven't used your pedal. And again, people are like, yeah, but like you don't need the pedal here. I'm just telling you, I want to get the Lifeweaver in the habit of that setup time, right? It's the same thing with when you're playing Winston. A lot of people will play Winston where you just jump into their team and that's it. But a lot of Winston is actually setup time. You want to set up on high ground. You want to go on flanks, and you use your jump as an escape rather than like a aggressive in play, right? Unless, of course, you have your ultimate and it's like a set play there, like your Echo's diving. But the point I'm making is Overwatch is also a lot about setup time. And when you aren't using that one ability that really can make a difference in like how everything's going, you just don't use it a ton. So I'm just reminding you a few times throughout the VOD of your lack of pedal usage.
10 seconds.
So, and if you waste too much to fill the heal, that could be true. Yeah, I mean, you could also pre-heal a lot during team fights too. Things like that. So, don't be afraid to use your shift for that self-heal if you're getting low. There you go. Whatever the keybind may be. Pharaoh's kind of in the middle of the open. Sorry, itchy. Yeah, I could have saved the Pharaoh too. Yeah, I agree. That's what I'm... Still no pedal, by the way. You know, listen, I can't say you play it too safe and then getting out of that tree. I'll take it. I'll take it. You know what? Listen, it's better than your last Lifeweaver all on attack, so, you know? Don't be afraid to spam that doorway. I think that's a good example of where people are mentioning you're not doing enough damage in between. Like, just start right-clicking that doorway. Like, just damage that doorway. Why not? You don't need to hide. Like your team has control, like damage that doorway. Yeah, I can see that too. Like there's some timing for damage, and again, and I think this is gonna be like the trend of this like video for you is like all of these things add up, and that was kind of a that was kind of unlucky. At the same time, I feel like that's kind of on your Rhine, not to like have your Rhine drop down immediately. Maybe I don't know. That was an interesting one. That was really close of your team going the other way on that one. But like again, like this goes back to the story of this game is that all these like little things that have been happening in game are adding up. The lack of using your ultimates. You know that spam damage that could be make or break. Sometimes that extra spam damage. If say I'm playing Tracer, right, and you're not spamming as Lifeweaver on me, I'm having a blast against you. I'm like, this is great. You know, think about like the timings I mentioned on second point defense where you didn't use your ultimate. Even though your team is getting the limbs and making plays, like these are the moments that are losing the games. And this is stuff you can clean up easily. You can clean this up easily. So.
Everyone hydrated?
Hey, good job. Good start. Good start by your Junkrat.
That should do it.
Good start. I still think your position's a little bit too safe with how your teammates are playing. If your teammates are playing there, you want to be at this wall and use the wall next to your left as cover. I wouldn't. Yeah. So think about the spots. Like you're going to use the cover here. If you go here, you can get isolated pretty easily unless you have a pedal set up to go up top here, which I guess you could. But what I would do here, and again, this goes back to the lack of pedal usage, is use the corner here. If you need to get out, put a pedal somewhere here so that when you back up, you can pedal up into the air and then you can move around the map, etc. Like just have a pedal somewhere, all right? And as you can see, that's not happening. So now because you're afraid of them diving you and making this play, you're positioning yourself in a way that like ignores the idea of having a pedal. And I think you were trying to save your Ashe there. I think that was just unlucky. Throw a pedal to the left somewhere. Have a pedal, have an escape route for your Hog so your Hog can have an extra bit of survivability. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example of this. 'Cause I think sometimes you have a more safe play style, right? You're not damaging. But your pedal, maybe this will give you some help on this one. Like, think about this. If you're the enemy team and you're going up against a Roadhog, say you get the Roadhog to 30% HP, okay? You're like, okay, the Roadhog's at 30% HP. We're going to kill the Hog. That pedal alone could be a full HP bar for the Hog because the Hog gets lifted into the air, now has enough time for survivability, and then boom, now your Hog has cooldowns again. Now you have survivability. You see how you could like change the game with like just throwing your pedal out there? You need to start thinking about that type of playstyle for Lifeweaver. I think you're undervaluing the pedal so much, and I can tell you right now, whenever I play against really good Lifeweavers, a lot of it comes down to their ability to do really good spam damage. And on top of that, their pedals are unreal. Like, they're always in good spots. They're always using them to survive. They're keeping people alive. It's so good. Like, it is like, they're almost unkillable at times. Literally unkillable at times. Good save on your Bastion. New drop center 2 camp.
Adaptive circuits engaged. Roadhog.
Don't need to ult just yet. Everything's clean so far. You're good. Yep. Here we go.
Life protects life.
Hate to break it to you, had to do that. I think a lot of people would do the same thing with the ult there, so ultimate's fine. And it lasts a while. Now the ult dominoes are going to be the problem, yeah. Now this is a team effort. Heck up here, your team over ulted this. Your team had a huge numbers advantage. Again, if you're in the stack here, if you want to like, if you're in that stack, try to take over on the comm there and be like, hey, we've used this, don't use any more ultimates, we're good, right? You already had Lifeweaver tree up, they were Soldier ultimate. At the very least, maybe you can argue the Kiriko ult, but everything after that was way too aggressive. So try to communicate that in your group too, all right? Try your best to communicate that with the group. So weren't they going to win that team fight anyway? Why tree? Sure, I can explain that very quickly. Even though it was, again, it goes back to that 5v3 discussion, it becomes a little bit harder in overtime to make that quick decision because if you don't use your tree there, and if they're targeting you, I think the Lifeweaver dipped to about 150 HP. It's just one of those, it's definitely not like, if you were, again, if we say we're talking specifically pro play, Good chance they don't use a tree there, but this is ranked, right? And we have to look at it as a ranked point of view. And in that situation, you're just not sure if you're going to have that teamwork to be able to save you, regardless if you're in a stack or not. So sometimes you got to lean more into the, you're using your ability to help self-sustain. The problem, and we'll go back to that, is that if you don't communicate with your team, the follow-up to that, which is what happened, that's how you ult domino, and then now they can come back with their ultimates and then possibly win the team. Again, reactionary petal, not a petal already set up. Now you have a 7-second cooldown on a petal where if you had one out, yep, and then they just come back with all their ultimates and your team just loses the team fight. You know what I mean? Yep, and you had to pull your hog there anyway, so that's not really like, that was like necessary. So yeah, in my opinion here, in my opinion here, I think that, what is this, Arthur Fist? You gotta really, just more petals, communicate with your teammates when you're playing with them, because you said you play in a group, like you said you play in a group a lot, so I want to point that part out. You gotta use those petals more damage, more being aggressive with your play, and using your kit overall. You do that, you're gonna clean it up. I think, like I said, all the little things in this game is the why you lost this game. If you look at the time, there's 50 seconds on the clock. There's so many moments in this game that you could have just changed by using your ultimate at the right time, by pedaling, having a pedal available for your teammates. Things like that make or break these games, and that's why you lost the game. So you fix that. Again, I'm not saying it's all on you at that point, but you wanted me to kind of showcase where you can improve on that one, and there was a lot you could do there. So fix that. I think you'll see good results, and soon you can be out of plat. I know you'd love to probably see that diamond rank pop up. So you got this. You absolutely got this. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube if you haven't, leave a comment, all that helps. You want to watch more of these? A video's gonna pop up. Give it a watch. They're really fun. Hope you all have an amazing day /night.